All right, so today we're going to dive into some pretty big news in the EV world.
Yeah.
BYD just dropped some info on their brand new charging tech.
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
We've got an article here breaking it all down, so we'll try to figure out what it all means for the future of EVs.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the headline here is pretty attention-grabbing.
Yeah.
BYD is claiming that they can get you almost 250 miles of range.
Wow.
In just 5 minutes of charging.
5 minutes?
5.
That's wild.
And, the market's reacted pretty swiftly to their shares in Hong Kong hit an all-time high.
Yeah, no surprise there. That surge of up to 6% isn't just, people getting excited. I think it's showing real confidence in BYD's ability to tackle one of the biggest issues for people thinking about going electric.
Right.
That charging speed. And that's always been the big question mark. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Will I be stuck waiting around forever to charge up?
Exactly.
And what's interesting, too, is that their growth this year has been incredible, over 50% so far. So they're now at a market cap of $160 billion.
Huge.
With a B. So I think that kind of investor enthusiasm really tells you that they see this new tech as a game changer.
Right.
Not just for BYD, but for the whole EV market.
Absolutely. So let's get into the why behind all this buzz.
Yeah.
The article dives into the details of this new charging system.
Right.
And they're basically saying that you can get 248 miles of range.
Almost 250.
Yeah, basically in just 5 minutes of being plugged in.
I mean, that's getting close to filling up your gas tank, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really does start to bridge that gap in terms of convenience between EVs and gas cars.
Yeah, that comparison is key. I think for a lot of people, it's not even about the actual time spent charging.
Right.
It's that psychological barrier of having to stop and wait. Yeah, and if BYD can actually pull this off, it changes that whole perception. It's not about changing your routine. It's just a quick pit stop like you do with a gas car.
Exactly. And this is not some far off concept either.
No.
The article mentions that this tech is going to be rolled out pretty soon.
Yeah.
First in their new Tang L sedan, and then in the Tang L SUV, which is coming out later.
Right, so you could actually see this tech on the roads pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is exciting. And, it's not just about the cars themselves.
Right.
BYD is also planning to build a whole network of 4,000 compatible charging stations across China.
Wow.
They don't give a specific timeline in the article, but that commitment to infrastructure is huge.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want people to actually use these super fast chargers,
right,
you got to make sure they can actually find them.
Yeah, that's going to be key.
Right.
So this all sounds fantastic for BYD.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes you wonder,
yeah,
what about everyone else?
Right.
What about the other big players in the EV space like Tesla?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. The article definitely hints at some potential pressure.
For sure. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Tesla's fastest superchargers, right now, they get you about 170 miles in 15 minutes.
Right.
But if BYD can really deliver on this 5-minute, 250-mile promise, that's a huge difference.
It is a big difference.
It's not just a little bit faster, it's way more convenient.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this could be a serious advantage for BYD.
Especially in China.
Especially in China, yeah. Where Tesla's actually been facing some headwinds lately.
Right.
The article mentions that their shipments from China dropped by almost 50% in February compared to last year.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, that shows you how competitive that market is already.
It is.
And BYD coming in with this new charging tech could really shake things up.
Right. It's really interesting to think about how this could impact the entire EV industry.
Yeah.
I mean, if BYD can do this,
right,
who's to say other manufacturers won't try to follow suit?
Exactly. And that raises some big questions for the future of charging infrastructure.
Right.
Like, are we going to need new standards, new types of chargers? It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, the big takeaway here is that BYD's new charging tech is a potential game changer.
Yeah.
250 miles in 5 minutes.
It's a big claim.
It is a big claim.
But if they can actually deliver, this could give them a huge edge in the EV market.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes you think, what would happen if this kind of super fast charging became the norm?
Right.
How would that change the way we think about and use EVs?
Yeah.
Would we even need to worry about range anxiety anymore?
Right.
And what about the infrastructure?
Right.
Could we actually build out a network of these ultra-fast chargers everywhere?
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
It is. It is.
So yeah, I mean, this is big news.
Yeah, it is.
And it'll be really interesting to see where it all goes from here.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks for breaking this down with me.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
That's all for our deep dive today. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.